If you're an acrylic artist out there and you've tried doing Bob Ross style paintings or any landscape that's in a wet and wet style, you've probably been on the struggle bus and you've been on it pretty hard. And that's because there is no real form of liquid white for acrylic painting out there. Until this video right here. I'm gonna show you 3 awesome recipes to make your own liquid white for acrylic painting. You can do this all on your own and these work fantastic. And I'm gonna show you how to dominate with it right now. Let's go. Hey all, Wild here coming at you to help you become bigger and better with your creative adventures. If this is your first time here and you need help with tips, tricks, how-tos, or just general inspiration, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button and tick that bell so you know when my videos go live for you. So you're probably wondering, why am I giving you 3 recipes? Well, why not? I can do whatever I want, it's my channel. The real reason is, as I've started to make videos, I realized that a lot of people can't always get certain ingredients for their painting. Is ingredients the right word? Supplies. I guess supplies would have been better. I've realized that certain people can't get certain supplies in their country and or region. So I'm giving you 3 so that way you can see if any of these supplies are available where you're at, so that way you can make your own. Now in this video, I'm gonna give you the pluses and minuses of each recipe and you pick and choose which one is best for you. Also, at the end of this video, I'm gonna give you some bonus information about using liquid white, so make sure you watch all the way to the end because it's gonna be pretty enlightening if you're an acrylic artist out there. For all of our liquid white recipes for acrylic painting, they were all tested on canvas that was double primed. They were also controlled in an environment where the temperature was between 75 degrees and around 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So please keep that in mind because drying times may be different depending on where you are or how porous your surface is. When it comes to making your own DIY liquid white or magic white from acrylic paint, you need to start with a good acrylic paint. And for that, we're gonna use Golden Open Acrylics Titanium White Paint. The reason we're using this is because this paint is specially formulated to have a slower drying time. So we're already starting off on the right foot. Now, just to let you know, every recipe I'm gonna show you in this video has Golden Open Acrylic Titanium White Paint as its starting ingredient. So you need this for any of the liquid white recipes that you're gonna see in this video right here. Now, if you can't get Golden Open Acrylic Paint, hey, yeah, you can use any basic titanium white paint out there, but just to let you know, the drying times that you're gonna see will be cut in half. For our first liquid white recipe for acrylic painters, we're gonna be using the Liquitex Slow Dry Blending Medium. Now, this is actually a blending medium for fluid painters out there. If you don't know what that is, generally it's geared towards people that like to do acrylic pour painting. Really awesome, by the way. But you can also use this for doing landscape paintings if you want to create your own liquid white. Now, the recipe for using the Liquitex Slow Dry Blending Medium is equal parts. So 1 part titanium white paint from Golden Open Acrylics and 1 part slow dry blending medium from Liquitex. Make sure you mix this up really good to a nice creamy consistency, and this will allow you to have your first recipe for your titanium liquid white recipe. When it comes to using the Liquitex medium, it works in a pinch. However, it's not my favorite. When doing a dry test, I notice it starts to get really tacky after the 30-minute mark. It really doesn't make it past 45 minutes or an hour, which could be very difficult for brand new painters out there because it would require you to work in sections. Things like the background, the middle ground, then foreground, and so forth and so forth. And that can be really difficult if you're brand new to landscape painting. So this may not be my favorite one to go with, but this is also the most widely available medium that I've been able to find in multiple regions and multiple countries. On a side note, the Liquitex actually has a fun little kicker to it. It's actually a little bit of a self-leveling medium, which means you're not gonna get a lot of brush strokes in your painting. If you like smooth paintings, that's kind of cool, which I kind of like on some surfaces. It also adds a gloss effect when it dries. I'll try to show it here on camera. It's a little difficult to see, I'm sure, but in person, it actually looks really cool. So that could be a really cool effect for your landscape paintings or perhaps a seascape painting if you're into that. Liquid white recipe number 2 for acrylic painters is using Golden Open Thinner. Again, it's the same proportion ratio, 1 part paint to 1 part thinner. You cannot go more than that because you will actually break the integrity of the paint, which means it may not adhere well to your painting. So make sure you keep it to a 1-to-1 ratio or below. Again, mix this up to a nice creamy texture to mimic the liquid white that we want and apply it to your canvas. When it comes to golden open thinner, you can actually see the dry time is expanded to right around the 1 hour mark. Now, to be fair, around 1 hour, I noticed by touch it does get a little tacky, but it still gives a nice little blend that you can work with, or you can add more liquid white to blend in the effects. But the nice thing about when it gets tacky, if it comes to landscape or bushes or rocks, it's easier to put layers on top of layers, which could be an awesome win for you. One of my favorite things about golden open thinner is it's actually a multitasker. You don't only make liquid white for acrylic paint out of it. This is actually a great medium and a needed medium if you're gonna use golden open acrylic paints, because this is technically the best way to thin your paint out, which we'll get a little bit into at the end of this video. But keep in mind, great multitasker for blending and thinning the viscosity of your paints for layering and blending. The only negative I could really say about golden open thinner, this was actually extremely hard for me to find. Even in the United States, it was sold out everywhere, and it seems like it has limited production number. I have no idea why, to where you can only get the small bottle. Good news is for you though, hey, I'm gonna put links down below for every place that I can find it out, so it helps you out on your journey, because I had a struggle trying to even find and acquire this. Liquid white recipe number 3, stick with me on this one, it's a tough name, is using golden gloss glaze liquid, which is a slow drying extender for acrylic colors. And this stuff is pretty awesome. It works exceptionally well when it comes to making liquid white. Hey, easy thing is, it's the same ratios again. 1 part paint to 1 part gloss glaze liquid. Again, get this to a nice creamy texture for your liquid white and apply it to your canvas. When it came to using the gloss glazing liquid, this gave me the longest slow drying time, which means I actually had a better opportunity to blend colors for a longer period of time while paint was on my canvas. In fact, when I was using the material, it stayed wet for pretty much over an hour. When it got to an hour and 30 minutes to the 2 hour mark, yeah, things got pretty tacky, but I could always apply more of my liquid base and kind of work things in and out to where it would be usable to do an entire painting in a few hours. If you plan on going with the gloss glazing liquid, it does add a little bit of a sheen to your painting. I'll try to show it here on my test canvas. It's a little hard to see. So if you're not really into a sheen, this may be a negative for you. It also adds, in my particular eye, it adds a little bit of lightening to your color. Now, it doesn't say that on the bottle. It actually says it adds to the transparency or translucency of your paintings. What does it actually say? Translucency, there we go. So it adds to the translucency of your paints. So make sure you keep that in mind for when you have to blend colors for your landscape painting. Translucency is a tough word. Surprised I got it on the first go. I had to double check myself. The gloss glazing liquid is probably one of my go-tos for wet and wet style liquid white for acrylic painters out there. There's not a really strong negative to it, other than the fact that outside of the United States, this was kind of a little difficult to find. So that might be one of the things that sways you to the other recipes, which is why I want to show them to you. Now, if you end up buying any of these recipe mediums or any of the items that I showed in today's video, I did you a favor and I put links down below that should take you right to it, so it makes everything nice and easy. By the way, those links you click through cost you nothing and they help support my channel. So thank you very much. All right, time to give you that extra information that is super important that I told you about in the beginning of the video. When it comes to making your own liquid white recipe, if you're gonna be using golden open acrylics, this is specially formulated where you might make a huge mistake. You cannot use any water in your painting if you use golden open acrylics, because it actually speeds up the evaporation process of this paint, which means your dry times are going to go even faster. So stay away from water, which is another strong reason why you want to go with the golden open thinner to thin down and layer your paint. So that way you can do awesome landscapes. So if you do these recipes, make sure you don't use any water in them, okay? Also, remember, I only tested the recipes on double primed canvases. So if you want to gesso extra layers with a 3rd or 4th layer of gesso, it's gonna make your canvas or whatever painting material you're using less porous, which means you're gonna get longer dry times. So keep that in mind whenever you use any of these awesome recipes. Now you're probably wondering, Wild, what recipe do you use when it comes to doing wet and wet landscape paintings with acrylic paint? Hey, do you use the Liquitex medium? Do you use the open thinner? Or do you use the gloss glazing medium? You know, to be 100% honest, I have my own recipe. It's a secret recipe that dominates any of the recipes that you've seen here in this video. And you know what? I'm gonna show you in my next YouTube video. That's right, it's a tease. Get used to it, people. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, or I'm gonna put it over here on the right-hand side, depending on when you see this video. So check out both and keep your eye out for it, because trust me, it's a recipe you're not gonna wanna miss, and it's one of the best out there. I will see you all in that next video coming up real soon. Take care, and of course, peace.